Well, good day, Lionhearts. It's your old pal, Jordan the Lion. We're back from Historic Auto Attractions in Roscoe, Illinois. We've done a ton of videos from there recently. It's just because the museum is insanely awesome. I spent my whole day. You really need to spend your whole day to see it, and we have like over a week's worth of videos from here. So today we're going to check out the presidential furniture, clothing, personal belongings. This should be fun. Daze with Jordan the Lion and you all. It begins right now. All right, my friends, today we are going to focus on the White House furniture collection. Should be fun. So they start you off with a diagram of the White House, and they show you where all the rooms are, so that when we get to these, you see there are different numbers: East Room, Green Room, Blue Room, South Portico, Oval Office, all that stuff. Once we get to the corresponding room, we'll know where it was inside the house. So each exhibit, like you can see right here, this is for the music room, and it'll tell us whose furniture they're displaying that was once in there. So in here it says this is all Kennedy era, 1961, used in the music room for concerts and formal events, commissioned by Jacqueline Kennedy. And it says these two elegant pieces were commissioned by Jackie. After completion, all the molds were destroyed. Used in the East Room. And then back there, that is a McKinley era music box. That's kind of interesting. Used in the music room, the sheet music on display are the originals from the 1900s. And those are on display in that little cabinet right there, in the center. Gift from the Aeolian Company in 1900. And then back here, the one in the very back, that's Kennedy era also. Now that is formal sofa from Bennett Furniture, Truman era. Purchased in 1951 by the White House and used primarily for formal functions around the Rose Garden. That's a Truman era sitting chair. Used in various rooms in the White House, it says. It says Eisenhower's gift from Governor Maddox, a writing desk. Gift from the state of New York around 1954 when Eisenhower was in office. Kind of cool to see how much different furniture changed over time also. That is Truman era. Gift to the White House from Franklin Furniture of Illinois in 1946. Used in the War Room, aka the Map Room. And then these are Camp David chairs. President's Retreat, Truman era, used in the main residence of the White House until their transfer to Camp David in 1961 for the use in the Aspen Room. That's a brass lamp from Tiffany, stained glass, used in the Truman era. Gift from the Prince of Iceana. And then the table was used in the Rose Garden. Very nice setup. Over here, we have Truman's rocking chair. That's a patio rocking chair from the Eisenhower era. Used in the patios of the White House, it says. And then Eisenhower's U.S. Army staff chair. That's cool. He was a great general. Well, he was a great leader. And back here we have Aspen Room chairs, Carter era. These chairs were used in the Aspen Room at Camp David. Interesting pattern. Then that's a flower room table from Eisenhower, and it's leather topped. So then we come over here and we're getting to some older stuff. Now we've got to White House furniture, and we have, you can see, Teddy Roosevelt wood dresser mirror from 1901, placed in the main residence of the White House in 1901. And then that was the children's couch and chair, personally owned by Theodore Roosevelt and used in the main residence of the White House by his many children. Yes, he did have many children. And then over here, Eisenhower and Kennedy era dresser used in the main residence of the White House by the First Ladies, Mamie Eisenhower and Jackie Kennedy. Very nice. And over here, rocking chair given to Cardinal Cushing as a gift from longtime friend John F. Kennedy. And then this one says cane back chair with ottoman, personally owned by Dwight D. Eisenhower, brought to the White House in 1953. It was used in the Oval Office. And then over here says this was William Morris chair, Roosevelt era, 1935, a special gift from William Morris to Franklin Roosevelt, used in the president's personal study. And then over here, James K. Polk sewing machine. First sewing machine to be used at the White House. Was on display at the Smithsonian from 1968 to 1970. Interesting. Eisenhower red couch. He and Elvis could have hung out. Gift was from the state of California in 1959, go figure. Used in the Red Room. Perfect place for it. Now over here, they have a few clothing items. We've got, looks like Lyndon Johnson's suit and a bunch of his hats. So there you got a look at his personal wardrobe. Lord Elgin watch, same brand that John F. Kennedy had. Lyndon Johnson's keychain and his tie clasp, and then one of his campaign hats and his glasses. And it's interesting, it says about his suit that we were looking at, it was worn for his TV broadcasts when he was talking about the Vietnam War. So probably a very recognizable suit from that era. These are First Lady Lady Bird Johnson's dress. I think the pink one is as well. Yes, also Lady Bird Johnson's dress. I've shown some of the gowns of the First Ladies at the Smithsonian, and people loved it on this channel, so I just feel like I should show that kind of stuff when I can. There's Lady Bird Johnson's white gloves, her dress shoes, her fashionable glasses, her inauguration invitation, that's nice. And then a couple of her hats back here. Her bracelet. Saccharine holder and tongs. Not sure what that is. And then another one of her bracelets. And then here we have a dress of Rosalind Carter. And And that desk is President Nixon's personal desk from the White House. Oh boy. But it has Jimmy Carter's tie pins displayed on it. A picture of Rosalind signed. And Jimmy Carter's inauguration programs. Over here we have Pat Nixon's clothing. Wife of Richard Nixon, of course. Patricia Nixon. And then we have her hat from her trip to Africa, along with a photo of her with a letter written by her and an accommodation from Africa when she went to Africa. They have some of their glasses from Marine One. Here was the White House telephone during President Nixon's administration, as well as their call directory. Oh boy. And then some of his cufflinks, inauguration bracelet, and then another one of Pat's interesting gowns. And Richard Nixon's suit. Pinstripe suit. Worn during his presidency, it says. Now on here, if you look over in this little corner right there, it says that that is a piece of wood from George Washington's casket. Down here we have a life mask of George Washington, one of President Rutherford B. Hayes, Andrew Johnson's impeachment ticket, and then James Monroe's Presidential Peace Medal, dated 1817. And then that's John Quincy Adams' Indian Peace Medal, 1825. Now the walking stick is Benjamin Harrison's, and the one in front, the brown one up here. And it's funny because if you look, it's got his image right up there at the top for Benjamin Harrison. Then if you look at William Howard Taft, his also has his image. And then down here you have one of the spoons of Theodore Roosevelt, Zachary Taylor's razor, and Grace Coolidge's rose chiffon stole. That is Ronald Reagan's suit jacket. And an American flag that flew over the Capitol building when he passed away. There's an American flag signed by George Bush up here. This was a flag that was taken down at noon, the exact time that Gerald Ford became a former president and Jimmy Carter was sworn in. Now, that is the pen right there that Ronald Reagan used to sign the Social Security Amendment of 1983. There you can see Ronald Reagan's tie clasp. Keychain. Pat and Richard Nixon's gold pens. Lyndon Johnson's pen, Harry Truman's pen, and it even says Harry Truman on it. And that John Kennedy pen that says his name on it right there was what he used when he was the senator of Massachusetts. Oh, interesting. This pen was what he used to sign the nuclear test ban treaty. Now we have some more presidential furniture in here. Card table from Truman era and some chairs. Truman was known for being quite the poker player. Many games were played on this very table. And then it says Carter era chairs that were used in the concert and for concerts and other formal events. And then the couch back there, Roosevelt era. 3-piece set was used in the Red Room from 1935 until it was removed in 1961. So that would have also been this chair, that couch, and the chair back there in the corner. Mrs. Kennedy would have removed those. And then it says that little table right there was a coffee table used in the executive wing in the Truman era. Now over here in this case, they have some more furniture, and it's some old stuff. Actually, that desk back there, it says, that goes all the way back to Chester A. Arthur era, 1881. Desk was brought to the White House in 1881 and used in the executive office until 1901. So that would have been removed during Teddy Roosevelt. The set of gold leaf chairs were from Kennedy, used in the music room. The marble table here was from FDR, used in the war room. And then the 3-piece furniture set was used by the Eisenhowers. You can see the other 2 chairs back there. And the Kennedys. Gift from the state of California, used in the first family study. Pretty nice collection inside that case. We have one more display of presidential furniture. Done a great job with this. They really have. Their museum is just, I mean, it's as good as the Smithsonian to me. Mid-1850s vases. Wow. And then you have the turtle top table was from the Truman era. It was a gift by Douglas MacArthur, used in the reception hall. You have this side table over here. Sideboard purchased by the White House in 1951. Used for the state dining room. Then you have all those white chairs back there from the Eisenhower era. We can get a better look at those. Given to President Eisenhower from the country of Spain. Used in the reception wing. Nice. And then this table is from the Truman era. Used in state dining room for formal and state dinners. And here to wrap it up, we'll show you a few last items of Jackie Onassis, from her hat, some of her shoes, Oleg Cassini shoes, some of her personal perfume bottles, her fan, her hairbrush. Well, my friends, I hope you enjoyed our day of checking out some presidential furniture and presidential clothing and personal mementos. I love this museum. If you're ever in Roscoe, Illinois, make sure you make it to Historic Auto Attractions. We will see you next time. Have a great night and goodbye.